What's up, everybody? Justin here. We are back for more CD collection. We're still in the D section. I got a big stack here to talk about. And hopefully you have now seeing some improved quality in the videos, so let me get some feedback on that. First, we are listening to Hivemind. Hivemind is a kind of drone electronic ambient type project. I heard about or read about Hivemind somewhere years ago and kind of halfway followed him. I like the Facebook page or something, but then it's just one guy and I don't know his name, but he played here in Atlanta a couple years ago with Pharmacon, and it was super fucking heavy. Just lots of just subsonic frequencies. The funny thing about these types of bands are he stood on the stage with a folding table with all the lights off, and he stood there and he drank a beer while he pressed buttons. But it's the visceral fucking body experience of watching someone like this. And I picked up a few tapes that night. He operates chondritic sound, and all the Hivemind stuff is there. This is called Moments Descended in Blue Ash. I have no idea like where that falls in their discography or anything, because there's dozens of Hivemind releases. But if you like this kind of noisy, doomy electronics, it's excellent. It's all instrumental too. So, into the CDs. First up, a personal favorite of mine. I have 3 albums by Death in June. So Death in June is a neo-folk project. If you don't know what neo-folk is, it's kind of like folky nowadays acoustic music. But Death in June got their start way back in the 80s. They were kind of more of a electronics project. And now they have morphed into just, it's just one guy's Douglas P. The guitar and vocals. But these 3 releases, I have Discriminate, which is a double disc. And like I mentioned in one of my other videos, I hate digipacks in plastic bags. But this is a really nice addition. It's got the 2 separate CDs here, and you will see that is the Death in June logo, which has created tons of controversy because it's the Totenkopf, it's the Death's Head, which was obviously made popular by Nazi Germany. But Douglas P. and Death in June are not Nazis. He's a 60-year-old gay man who sings about the trees and shit like that. But Death in June's music is just, it's just good, man. I like to relax to Death in June. It, you know, it's late night driving music, or it's, you know, just laying around being quiet type music. There's also a booklet here with some pictures and really nice presentation. I picked this up at Amoeba Records in San Francisco a few years ago. And then I also have, which one is this? The Rule of Thirds, which is a more recent Death in June release. Now, Death in June is still around. I saw him play here in Atlanta 3 or 4 years ago. It was a sold-out show, completely packed, 250 people. The Rule of Thirds came out 10 years ago, maybe, somewhere in there. And I'm not as crazy about this material as older stuff, and I haven't listened to this a lot. I need to really kind of get more reacquainted with this release. And then this is Burial. Burial came out in 80 something. It's old. 84. But this has got my favorite Death in June song on it, Sons of Europe. This is a really good starting point. I'm going to put a link to this one in the description below. I've also got a few Death in June records. But Death in June also has a really kind of exhaustive discography. There's all kinds of stuff to check out. I'll put it down below. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. See if it might be your thing. Alright, the Hive Mind tape ended sooner than I thought it would. So now I've thrown on the Spectral Voice Necrotic Doom demo. So, back to the CDs. Next, we have Death Curse with Death Curse. A friend of mine gave this to me, and I don't know anything about it. Came out on Razorback, and it is probably thrashy death metal. Don't know. Billy sent me a big box of stuff one time, and this was in it. I've never listened to it. I'll have to throw it on. I'll throw a link in the description. So next we have Death Like Mass with Drogi. So this I don't know anything about. This was given to me by Impurath from Black Witchery. One night we played a show together, and he has a label called Darkness Attack Records. This is not on Darkness Attack, but he had a copy of this with him, and he gave me a stack of stuff, and I've never checked it out. I'm assuming it's black metal of some variety. I need to listen to it because it looks really cool. It's got a rad, you know, typography, handwritten texts, really fucking killer layout and artwork. I need to set this aside and get acquainted with it because it looks fucking awesome. I don't know where they're from. I don't know anything about Death Like Mass. I gotta check this out. So we'll see how it goes. Next we have Death Yell with Morbid Rites. Death Yell was a death metal, death thrash, black metal band from South America. I can't remember exactly what country, but they were extremely obscure. And then in 10-12 years ago, Nuclear War Now put this out. I believe it is everything they ever did. And I'll tell you what, Yosuke from Nuclear War Now, he has this knack for going back and finding these old demo bands, basically. They did some tapes and maybe a couple of records and nobody knew who they were. And he's slowly tracked them all down and he's putting it back out there for maniacs like us who love this shit. But this is extremely raw, fucking nasty South American black death metal. But it's good. It really, it satisfies an urge when you want to listen to that kind of stuff and you don't want to listen to Sarcophago again. It's definitely good. So next, this is a fun one. This is the Deathmeister compilation that Death Records put out in 1998. And I discovered several bands on this. So this was, Death Records was a subsidiary of Metal Blade Records, and they put this comp out, specially priced, pay no more than $5.98. I bought this, and it has, at the time, a brand new Cannibal Corpse song on it off of Gallery of Suicide. Victorious March from Amon Amarth, which I don't give a shit about Amon Amarth, but that first record, One Cent from the Golden Hall, it's excellent. The problem is they've done the same record for the next 20 years. But the song Victorious March is awesome. Fucking, this was the first place I heard God Dethroned with the Grand Grimoire. Wait till I get to the G's, man. I fucking love God Dethroned. Dark Funeral's on here with a track off of Secrets of the Black Arts. Of course, I talked about them in the last video. Gates of Ishtar, Trail of Tears, Hecate Enthroned, and then Enthroned with Ha-Shatan off of Upon the Scroll Throne of Satan. I fucking love that album, and it's all thanks to this compilation that I bought for $5 and listened to 1,000 times. Alright, next we have Death Hammer with Onward to the Pits. I got this in a trade from Hell's Headbangers a few years ago, and it's really good thrashy black death metal. It sounds like it should be from South America. It sounds Brazilian, it's wild, it's fucking fast and visceral, but they are from Scandinavia somewhere. I can't remember if they're Swedish or Norwegian. But it's good. It's good if you like that kind of stuff. This is their first album, and I think they have one or two more, I'm not sure. But I like this, it was a good one. I think I have the LP too. So next we have Debauchery with Dead Scream Symphony. So when we get to the J's, I'm going to talk about Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot is my favorite black metal band of all time. Heaven in Flames is my favorite black metal record of all time. And I'm going to talk at length about that band and those records. Well, Akhenaten, Andrew Harris from Judas Iscariot, did Debauchery. And Debauchery is a little more thrashy kind of black metal release. He did all of this with a session drummer. This was the extent of the project. It's very, very minimal here. I think this came out on a 10-inch as well. But it's good. It's good. It's this may be more death metal-y too. I don't remember. I haven't listened to it in so long. This may be more death metal. But I'll drop a link below. We'll check it out. But at the time, anything that Andy was a part of, I wanted to get. Because I love Judas Iscariot so much. So next we have Decomposed with Torn from the Womb. This came out on World Eater Records. This is another one. In every video I talk about a trade that I did several years ago, and I got a bunch of brutal death metal CDs, and this is one of them. I don't remember what this sounds like. I'll have to listen to it. But it has really, really fucking disgusting artwork. You check that out. So, Decomposed. Then we have Decomposing Serenity. Same one from that same giant trade. Degenerate Slime Distribution. This is a split. Oh, it's a split. Decomposing Serenity and Vomitoma. Don't know. Can't tell you. I think that I have a Vomitoma CD as well that's got like 50 tracks on it or something. So they're probably really, really nasty death grind, gurgle grind type stuff. But I'm sure this sounds like a toilet flushing. Okay, let's try this some more. My phone died a minute ago, so and the Spectral Voice tape ended, so now we are listening to Rotting Kingdom's demo. Rotting Kingdom is a doom band from Lexington, Kentucky, members of Tombstalker. This 3-song cassette, I think it's also on vinyl now. It's really fucking good, melodic. Doom, death, more melodic, like this part right now. But this, it's so fucking good. And I bought this shirt from the drummer. Okay, so, where we cut off? Decrepidemic. Decrepidemic is a portmanteau of decrepit and epidemic. Whatever. It's on Severed Records. I got this in a trade. This is called The Void of Unexistence. And I'm going to assume, like I always do, that it is brutal death metal. But this looks pretty cool. I believe they are from Spain. I'll throw this on and listen to it. Like I said, got it in a trade. I've never listened to it. I will add it to the TBD stack. Okay, last up for this round, I have the entire discography of Decrepidemic. So, you've heard me and you've heard Ben Smasher talk about a guy named Wayne Sarantopoulos a lot. Wayne is one of my best friends, and he plays drums in 2 of my bands. But Decrepidemic was his his pride and joy. This was his death metal band. Wayne started Decrepit Attack as a solo project 10 or 12 years ago, and then eventually another member joined, him and Dave, and they did all this material. They had a bass player for a little bit, didn't work out, and then they played their very last show in New York City 4 or 5 years ago, and our buddy Josh Dane played bass for that set. Josh from the band Martyrdom. Anyway, Decrepit Attack plays really fucking heavy steamroller old school death metal like Cancer, Bolt Thrower, Early Pungent Stench, Asphyx. It's not super technical, it's just beat you over the head fucking chunky fucking death metal. And it is so fucking underrated. But I've got the 3 full lengths: Condemned Cathedral, Beyond the Cursed Tombs, and Profane Doctrines Unburied. All 3 of these came out on Razorback Records. Billy and Wayne are good friends. Billy's always been a big supporter of stuff that Wayne does. And all 3 of these are just fucking crushing. There is a song, I think it's the last song on this CD, on the second one. There's a blast in this that is so fast and so solid. It is, and it's untouchable, and no one knows it. No one knows what it is. Super fucking heavy, crushing death metal. In addition to the 3 full lengths, I've got several comps and EPs here. So, this EP was called Mutant Terrors, and they released a 7-inch on Dementia Records along the way. And Wayne put this together and released it himself. He pressed 200 copies, and the first 200 people to order a 7-inch got a copy of this. Now this has got all of the splits leading up to that 7-inch on it, but the interesting thing is that the songs the other bands did are on here too. So it's like a compilation. So you've got Decrepit Attack, Father Befouled, Meat Hole Infection, who became Grave Ritual. I think that's it. So it's just the 3 bands. So that's a good little, rare piece of Decrepit Attack's discography. And then Forgotten Scriptures, the collection. Now, first, I love the cover art to this. It is so fucking just gruesome. This is all of the material off of Mutant Terrors, plus splits and 7 inches past that. So it's most of all of their material. Split with Anatomia, split with Decrepit, or with Father Befouled. Split with Eternal Solstice. Just a bunch of songs there. Next up, we've got Condren Chaos. This was an EP that I released on a label that I used to operate. This is 4 songs, and I think it was done, if I remember, before the last full length. We did 500 of these, I think, and we also did it on cassette tape. But the best thing about this release is it's not listed anywhere. There's a Minor Threat cover. And as heavy and as just crushing as Decrepit Attack is, they decided to do the cover just like Minor Threat. It sounds just like Minor Threat playing it, and it's fucking awesome. Condren Chaos. Then we've got Grotesque Dwellings, which was a demo CDR that Wayne put together, put out himself. There's 100 copies of these, and I have number 97. I don't know if that's focused or not. And this is the early Decrepit Attack material. It's the original stuff, to the best of my knowledge. And then this CDR says Decrepit Attack Ancient Death Metal Remastered. Now that was a demo that I believe came after this that never got a proper release until this CD, Ancient Dwellings. And Ancient Dwellings is Grotesque Dwellings and Ancient Death Metal on one CD. And then there's a bonus track. One good thing that Wayne always does is he may release the same stuff, but he's always got something extra to throw on. There's always a track that's never been released. There's always a live track. There's always a little something to make it a different release, to make it worth buying it if you're a fan of the band. But this came out on the short-lived Poveglia Records. The guy behind that died of a drug overdose a few years ago. So I don't know if they've released any more than just this Decrepidemic CD. But it's those 2 demos on one disc. Super limited. I think this is a CDR as well. Looks that way. But anyway, that's all for now. Decrepidemic. I'll put some links below. They are super brutal. Wayne hates that word. They but just really, really killer death metal done the old way. Thanks for commenting, liking, subscribing, and let's talk about these releases, and I'll see you guys soon.